Hey friends, it is Essential November this month, and I am sharing with you essentials for different things. Today I am going to share with you my essentials for hiking a big hike at the Grand Canyon. I've got all of my stuff in this bag, and here's my bag. Let's pack it right now. I'm actually about to go on a trail run when we're done here, so really the stuff that's going to go in is much the same, just kind of more of it. So everybody, let me introduce you to my bag. This is my favorite bag. I have two of them. This is the older one, but it is the Camelbak Octane 18X. It is my favorite because it is lightweight, and the biggest, most exciting part is that it is expandable. That's a big deal for me because I can use it for running and I can have it closed up, or I can use it for like a bigger hike and I can have it open and it has a lot more capacity. Another important thing that I've got in here is a big water bladder. This is an 100-ounce water bladder, and it will be completely full for my Grand Canyon hike. At the Grand Canyon, you have to pay attention to when the water is on and off along the trails. For me, I believe I'm going to go down to the river and out up the Bright Angel Trail. So when I go down the South Kaibab Trail, there's no water. There's water at the top, and I believe that's on, but I'll be full at that point. And then all the way down the South Kaibab Trail, there is no water. At the bottom, there will be water, and then on my way out of the Bright Angel Trail, there will be water about midway, but that's it. And honestly, you can't count on it because sometimes the pipes break and they have to, they have to go and repair them. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking about water, but water is essential and oh so important when you're doing any kind of physical activity. But when I'm doing a hike like this, I don't mess around. I make sure that I have enough water, and I make sure that the person who's with me has enough water, whoever's with me, so that, if something happens, we can pool our resources if we need to. Okay, what else am I going to put in here? Oh, by the way, this bag is my favorite bag for a hike like this because it's a small and lightweight bag. There are times where I'll want a bigger bag. I have that big Low Pro Photo Sport, and that's an awesome bag, but it is a little bit heavier. I'm not probably going to be bringing my biggest gear down into the bottom of the Grand Canyon, although who knows, maybe I will at some point, but I just don't need anything like that. So that's why I like this bag. Okay, another essential is my phone. This is not only going to serve as video camera for me on this trip, because I don't want extra stuff, extra weight hiking out this incredible hike. And it also can be my lifeline. There is very little service going down into and coming out of the canyon, but on the way out, there comes a point where you do have a little bit of service. And in some other places, I've been at the Grand Canyon a lot, so I kind of know where you can get service. So, in an emergency, I would be able to use this. I also have an app on here called Motion X GPS. I always have to make sure. Yeah, Motion X GPS. For this hike, I won't need it because the trails are incredibly well defined and well marked. So I'm not going to get lost. But if I were going into a situation or a trail that I was not familiar with, or for example, the Tonto Trail at the Grand Canyon is not as well marked when you're on it. So I would probably make sure I downloaded maps and was able to track myself. So my phone will go into one of my pockets here. Zip her up. What's next? What's next? This is in no particular order. Next is food. I always bring a lot of food. There will be more food in this bag than there is right now. But for now, this is what I have. I also will use this bag for trash. I like to have a Ziploc bag for my trash because you pack out what you pack in. So I don't need like strange smells and banana peels, just roaming around in my bag. So I like to use a Ziploc. What's next? Hand warmers. These are toe warmers, but whatever. I just use them, whichever ones I happen to have with me. So those are just in case. Right now the lows at the Grand Canyon are near freezing. And I think I'm going to start my hike before sunrise. So it is going to be literally freezing. I might be using those. Speaking of which, layers. Lots of layers. I always bring multiple layers. These are both kind of quilted material. They're not down, but they're Prima Loft or whatever they call it. And when used in layers, it can be really warm. I also really like Polar Tech. That becomes really helpful. Whatever I do have, these both actually will like fold up into their own like pocket, but you know, I'm not actually hiking right now. So let's just shove those down in there. And I also always bring, oh, I'm sorry, my alarm's going off on my phone. That's my alarm to give my cat his diabetes medicine, but I promise I already did it today. Anyway, this is, it's called a buff. This one I like to put around my ears when I get cold, or around my neck, or whatever. So I always have some sort of ear protection. That's what I will probably be using that one for. Gloves, sometimes multiple pairs of gloves. I will probably bring an extra set of gloves for this weekend because, like I said, it's literally going to be freezing. An extra pair of socks. One of my very guiltiest pleasures is when I get down and across and I start coming up the Bright Angel Trail at Indian Garden. There's a stream, and it is a freezing cold stream, but your feet are dirty and gross at that point, and they probably kind of hurt. So I like to put my feet in the stream, freeze them up good, and change my socks. I feel like a new woman after that, and you need to feel like a new person to get those last 4 to 5 miles out of the canyon. So I'll be making use of those. Toilet paper. I always like to have that with me just in case, even though at the Grand Canyon, not a lot of good places to just, you know, go to the bathroom, and you got to pack it out anyway, which is why it's in a Ziploc bag. There are bathrooms along the way, so I always am just able to make use of those, but just in case, you never know. I don't want to be caught without it. Sunglasses, need those. Battery charger. This is my favorite RAV Power battery charger that has a lightning cable built in. It's just a nice compact form factor. It's all in one piece. What else do I have? My keys. I always need my keys. I always put those somewhere extra safe by themselves because, gosh, if you lose your keys down in the canyon somewhere, that's going to be a big problem. My wallet. Usually I pack this down into a Ziploc bag. I don't typically bring my whole wallet with me. I just bring my National Parks pass, my driver's license, a credit card, some cash, and I'm done. Maybe my health insurance card, just in case. A headlamp. Oh, I don't have my sunscreen in here. I do have my lip balm, but I forgot to pack my sunscreen in here because for this trail run I'm about to go on, I'm going to be using my headlamp. It's about to get dark out. So anyway, sunscreen. Just pretend like this is sunscreen. And last but not least, a camera. Sometimes I will go for a larger DSLR. I particularly like to bring like my D810 and my 24mm prime lens, maybe the 24 to 85 variable aperture lens. That's a good one too on my D810. However, for this hike, it is a big hike. It's a tough trek out. I'm going to bring the little guy. This gives me a nice wide field of view. It's a 10mm lens on a CX sensor, so 10mm times 2.7 gives me a nice wide angle. And so this, shoot, I didn't bring my little bag, but pretend I have a little bag for it, because when it's dark outside, I typically just have it in my bag here. And I just put a little soft bag around it, or I wrap it in a t-shirt or something, because it's just a little camera. It doesn't need any kind of big protection, especially in my pack, because I'm always really careful with it. And then I zip it up and I'm ready to go. So everybody, Thanks for watching. Those are my essentials for a big Grand Canyon hike. Let me know about you guys. What do you do? What do you need? What are your essentials for your big excursions into the wild? Let me know in the comments below.